This is The Warning.
It is Monday, April 28th, and we must talk about the fecklessness of the leadership of the Democratic Party. It is true that MAGA has a knife to the throat of the American Republic, but it is also true that all of us, 352 million Americans, are Chuck Schumer's hostage. It's all well and good to talk about the threat of Donald Trump. Cory Booker can do it for 25 hours. But unless and until the 47 Democratic senators will confront reality, they are ineffective as a group against Donald Trump. It is a moral abdication, and it is appalling. This is Chuck Schumer with Dana Bash talking about what it is that he's going to do.
It's going to hurt every American. It's going to hurt the kids at the universities who've had nothing to do with protesting, but it's also going to hurt the kind of medical research and other kinds of great research that is done at Harvard and other universities. So we sent him a very strong letter just the other day asking 8 very strong questions about why this isn't just a pretext.
Well, you'll let us know if you get a response to that letter.
I'm sure it was a great letter. I wonder if he still thinks he's winning.
And we will win!
We will win!
We will win! We will win! We will win!
No serious opposition party would maintain this Neville Chamberlain wannabe as its leader. This is an exigent circumstance, in an existential moment. There is no duty more important than for the 47 Democratic senators elected directly by Americans from their states to sit together in a room and demand a change in leadership. I'm begging you, Chris Murphy, Ruben Gallego, take command of the institution or we will lose the republic. We will lose it to Chuck Schumer's fecklessness and all of your weakness. It's great that Chris Murphy is traveling the country doing town halls. I mean that seriously. But he is a United States Senator. And a United States Senator, first and foremost, needs to be focused on the effectiveness of the United States Senate. And that starts with walking into a room with his colleagues and telling Chuck Schumer, the people of New York have entrusted you with responsibility, but the people of our states demand you step aside. I want to tell a story about Chuck Schumer's incompetence. And it's a story about the state of Ohio. Tim Ryan ran an exceptional campaign. J.D. Vance was on his back on the edge of defeat. Tim Ryan forced the National Republicans to spend $60 million to help elect J.D. Vance. Tim Ryan lost an election by 5 points. The top of the ticket lost the race by 26 points. That delta between what the top of the ticket, the woman running for governor, lost by, and Tim Ryan's loss is a remarkable testament to the popularity of Tim Ryan in a Democratic state and also the awful abandonment of Tim by Chuck Schumer, who refused to spend any money in the state of Ohio. And I'm going to tell you why that's so appalling. It's appalling because Tim Ryan had J.D. Vance down and defeated in August. Now, in any campaign, you have to do 3 things. If you're the challenger, which Tim Ryan was in that race, you have to attack your opponent and define them. You have to tell your story, and you have to defend yourself from your opponent's attack. When Tim Ryan was 5 points ahead in August, he needed about $5 million to finish J.D. Vance off early, but it didn't happen. And so, as the fall went on, compromises had to be made. Tim spent more money defending himself and less money, because there wasn't any, attacking J.D. Vance. And the result, well, you saw it in the Oval Office. The incredible part about it is that Sherrod Brown was running in the Senate seat in Ohio 2 years after Tim. 2 Senate seats, same state, Republican state. Chuck Schumer spent $100 million 2 years later after spending zero. Strategically, did he ever consider that 2 Senate seats in the same state may be linked? That the Tim Ryan victory was necessitous for the re-election of Sherrod Brown? Did it ever occur to him that he didn't need to spend $100 million 2 years later if he had spent 2 years before? And the answer is, of course not, because he is strategically the most incompetent political leader the Democratic Party's had in 50 years. And he is surrounded by imbeciles at his super PACs, at his campaign committees. They are losers. And their losing has endangered the American Republic. Everywhere there is weakness, there is dishonesty, and there is fecklessness. Delusion about the dangers at hand. Now, there are some appeasement Democrats like Gavin Newsom who say now is not the right time to defend one of the most American propositions, which is that we don't do the knock on the midnight door where you're carted off into a white van and shipped to an El Salvadoran concentration camp without due process. Gavin Newsom is another person who doesn't understand strategy. Here's a simple question. Gavin, why did Robert E. Lee and the Union forces fight at Gettysburg, Pennsylvania? Answer to the question is because Robert Lee invaded Pennsylvania, and that's where the fight was. It was not chosen by the Union Army. It was forced on the Union Army by the aggressor. And that's the thing about the aggressor and their prerogatives. They are always the first mover. And so in this moment, what is required is an opposition. Now, when you look across the Democratic Party, what is it that you see? What I see is leadership from the progressive wing. Now, that's Bernie Sanders and that's AOC. This is different than me saying I support them in 2028, because this moment, as AOC correctly points out, is not about 2028. This is a moment where defiance is called for, where devotion to the Constitution is called for. So in my case, I look at people who I have serious disagreements with about political philosophy, about the nature of things, all manner of different opinions. And that's a good thing in America. But I'll tell you this, those people I disagree with, I admire them for one quality. They're American leaders in an American crisis who are telling the American people the truth, which is something that they don't hear very often. They don't hear it because there's not a financial incentive to deliver it. This is The Warning.
I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning. I invite you to join this community where I promise to be honest, blunt, and direct about what is happening in this country. America is in crisis. Follow and subscribe to this channel and on Substack. Thank you.